大家好，我们今天来讲一个 DeepSeek 的从入门到精通。这个文档是由余梦珑博士后团队、清华大学新闻与传播学院新媒体研究中心和元宇宙文化实验室共同编撰的。文章中划分了3个模块：一是 DeepSeek 是什么；二是 DeepSeek 能够做什么；三是如何使用 DeepSeek。那么就让我们进入接下来的讲解吧。
Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today, all about DeepSeek AI.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff.
I mean, we know you guys are probably already pretty interested in it if you're tuning into this deep dive, but just in case you're not quite caught up to speed, it's way more than just another AI company.
Yeah, that's right. What's really cool about DeepSeek is this focus on AGI, or artificial general intelligence.
Okay, so like the Skynet stuff.
Well, not necessarily like apocalyptic, but it is really about creating AI that can learn and solve problems like a human.
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes more sense.
And the company behind it is actually a Chinese tech company, and they've developed this reasoning model called Deepseek R1.
Okay, and what's so special about this model?
Well, for one thing, it's completely free and open source.
Wait, really? Open source?
Yep, you heard that right.
But-
So anyone can use it, modify it, contribute to its development.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, open source AI with that level of sophistication is pretty much unheard of.
I know, right? It's a total game changer.
So in this deep dive, we're going way beyond just explaining what DeepSeek is.
Yeah, we really want to explore how it's different from all the other AI tools out there, like ChatGPT, which we've talked about before on this show.
Right, because on the surface, it might just seem like another language model, but the guy we're looking at today is actually saying that DeepSeek R1 is something else entirely.
Exactly. And get this, the guide we're working with is actually in Chinese.
Whoa. So you're giving us the inside scoop straight from the source.
That's right. We're translating and analyzing some really cutting-edge insights that you won't find anywhere else.
Okay, I'm hooked. Already sounds like this deep dive is going to be full of surprises.
Definitely. So let's start by breaking down one of the key distinctions the guide makes right off the bat. They talk about something called reasoning models versus the general large language models we're all familiar with.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So is DeepSeek R1 like ChatGPT, but with extra reasoning powers or something?
You could think of it that way. In a nutshell, DeepSeek R1 is built for logical reasoning and tackling complex challenges.
Okay, so it's not just about generating creative text like ChatGPT.
Right. It's more about solving problems and coming up with solutions using logic.
Gotcha. So how does that actually play out in practice? Like, how is it different to use?
Well, the guide uses this really cool analogy to explain it. They compare ChatGPT to a sprinter, like super fast and responsive, great for generating text quickly.
Okay, I can see that. It's like, boom, you need a quick answer or a creative piece of writing. ChatGPT is your go-to.
Exactly. Now imagine DeepSeek R1 as a marathon runner built for endurance and tackling those really intricate problems.
I love that analogy.
Yep.
It's not about speed, it's about stamina and the ability to go the distance with those really complex problems.
You got it. And that brings us to another crucial point. The guide emphasizes prompting strategies.
Okay, so how we talk to DeepSeek R1 matters.
Big time. You can't just treat it like ChatGPT. You need a different approach.
This is where I get a little confused. Like, what's the right way to talk to a reasoning model? What do they need from us?
That's where this idea of expressing needs to the AI comes in which the guide talks a lot about.
Okay, so it's not just about giving commands. It's more about explaining what we need the AI to achieve.
You're getting it. It's about understanding the deeper goal behind the task.
Okay, so like, instead of saying, hey, DeepSeek, write me a poem about love, I should be saying something like, I need to express my feelings for someone in a creative and meaningful way.
Yeah, exactly. See the difference. You're framing it as a need, not just a command.
That's interesting. It's like you're not just telling it what to do, but communicating the WHY behind it.
Exactly. And the guide actually breaks down these needs into 5 distinct categories: decision analysis, creative validation, and execution.
Whoa, 5 categories. Okay, now you're really making me think, I mean, what does all that even mean? Like, how do those needs actually play out when you're using DeepSeek R1?
Well, let's say you're a business owner and you're trying to improve your website's user login process.
Okay, that's a pretty common problem. Everyone hates complicated logins.
Right. So instead of telling DeepSeek, hey, write me some code for a better login page, you would frame it as, a need.
So something like, I need to make my website's login process smoother and more user-friendly.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
essentially telling DeepSeek what you want to achieve, not just dictating the specific steps.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So it's about thinking more strategically about what we're asking the AI to do.
You got it. And that's where DeepSeek's real power comes in. It's not just a tool, it's a partner in problem solving.
This is blowing my mind. I mean, it sounds like we're just scratching the surface here.
We are. There's so much more to uncover, especially when it comes to this concept of prompt chains, which the guide really emphasizes.
Okay, I've seen that term thrown around a lot lately. Prompt chains.
Yeah.
What are they, and why are they so important for DeepSeek?
Prompt chains are like the secret sauce to getting truly impressive results from DeepSeek. It's all about breaking down a complex task into smaller, more manageable steps for the AI.
Oh, okay, so instead of giving it one massive instruction, you're guiding it through a sequence of prompts to reach a specific goal.
Exactly. It's like giving DeepSeek a roadmap to follow, leading it step by step towards the solution.
So it's like a recipe for success.
Exactly. And the guide actually lists 7 specific benefits of using these prompt chains.
7. Okay, hit me with them.
So prompt chains allow for task decomposition and integration thinking framework, construction, knowledge activation and association, creative guidance and expansion, quality control and optimization, multimodal information processing and feedback integration, and dynamic adjustment.
Whoa, that is a lot to unpack.
Oh.
I'm gonna need a minute to process all that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like these prompt chains are seriously powerful stuff.
They are. They really elevate DeepSeek from a basic AI tool to a sophisticated problem-solving machine.
This is all incredibly fascinating. I feel like we're only just scratching the surface here.
We are, and there's so much more to explore in the next part of this deep dive. We'll be diving deeper into those 7 benefits of prompt chains and how they can be applied in real-world scenarios.
I can't wait to hear more, but before we move on, I want to make sure our listeners are following along. What are some of your key takeaways so far? What's piqued your interest? What are you excited to learn more about? Let us know in the comments below.
We love hearing from you guys. It helps us tailor the deep dive to what you're really interested in. So hit us with your questions and thoughts, and we'll be back soon with part 2 of our DeepSeek exploration.
See you there.
It's really cool how you can tailor the way you talk to DeepSeek depending on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of AI, right?
Exactly. Like if you're trying to solve a math problem, you wouldn't approach it the same way you would if you were writing a poem.
Right. Totally different vibes.
And DeepSeek is smart enough to understand those different vibes or modes of thinking.
Oh, so walk me through this. How would I actually prompt DeepSeek for different kinds of tasks?
Well, so you're trying to prove a mathematical theorem using DeepSeek.
Okay, like the Pythagorean theorem.
Exactly. The guide suggests that you just state the theorem directly. So you could say, prove the Pythagorean theorem.
And that's it. No need to explain what a triangle is or how the theorem works.
Nope. DeepSeek as a reasoning model already has that kind of logical framework built in.
Wow. So it's like it already speaks the language of math.
Exactly. It's designed to handle those abstract concepts.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about something like creative writing? Would I prompt DeepSeek the same way?
Not quite. With creative tasks, you need to provide more guidance and constraints.
Like what kind of constraints?
Well, if you wanted DeepSeek to write a short story about a time traveler who accidentally changes the course of history, you might say something like, write a short story about a time traveler who accidentally changes the course of history, but keep it under 500 words and make sure it has a twist ending.
So you're giving it more specific instructions and boundaries to work within.
Exactly. You're essentially filling in the gaps that a reasoning model might not automatically consider.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's all about understanding the strengths and limitations of each type of AI model and then adjusting your prompting strategy accordingly.
You got it. It's like being a good coach. You need to know how to bring out the best in your team, or in this case, your AI.
I like that analogy.
Oh.
Okay, so we've talked about prompting for different tasks, but the guide also mentions these things called AI hallucinations.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one. And potentially a little bit creepy.
I know, right? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
So what are these AI hallucinations exactly?
Well, an AI hallucination is basically when the AI generates output that sounds plausible but is actually fabricated or inaccurate.
So it's like the AI is making things up even though it has no basis in reality?
Yeah, kind of like that. It's not intentionally lying. It's more like misinterpreting or inventing information.
So why does this happen? Why would an AI just make stuff up?
Well, the guide dives into some of the reasons behind these hallucinations, and it boils down to things like the AI's depth of understanding, the precision of the context we provide, and the availability of data.
Okay, so if the AI doesn't have enough information, or if the prompt is unclear, it might try to fill in the gaps with made-up details.
Exactly. And the guide actually breaks down AI hallucinations into 5 different types.
5 types. Seriously. Okay, I gotta know what they are.
All right, so you've got data misuse, context, misunderstanding, information gaps, reasoning errors, and then the most interesting one, fabrication.
Fabrication. So the AI is just straight up making stuff up.
Yep, it's generating completely fictitious information with no basis in reality.
Okay, that is both fascinating and a little unsettling. I mean, it's like the AI is developing its own sense of creativity, but not always in a way that we can control.
That's a really good point, and it brings up some important questions about how we evaluate the output of these AI models.
Right, because we can't just blindly trust everything the AI tells us.
Exactly. We need to be critical consumers of AI content and develop the skills to discern between what's accurate and what might be a hallucination.
So how do we do that? How do we evaluate AI?
The guide talks about using national-level projects or benchmarks that are designed specifically for AI evaluation.
So there are like standardized tests for AIs.
You could think of it that way. They also mentioned developing automated testing systems that can assess the AI's performance on various tasks.
Okay, so it's like a combination of human judgment and automated tools.
Exactly. And they even have a whole set of sub-indicators specifically for evaluating AI-generated content.
Wow, so it's a pretty comprehensive process.
It is. It really highlights the need for rigor and thoroughness when evaluating AI. As we delve deeper into this world of advanced AI, we need robust methods for measuring its performance and ensuring its output aligns with our expectations and ethical standards.
Absolutely.
Ah.
This makes me think about another concept that keeps popping up. Prompt engineering. It seems like it's becoming a crucial skill in the age of AI.
It definitely is. Prompt engineering is all about crafting the perfect question or instruction to elicit the desired response from the AI.
So it's not just about asking any question, it's about asking the right question in the right way.
Exactly. And the guide provides a pretty comprehensive overview of prompt engineering covering everything from basic principles to advanced strategies.
Like what kind of strategies?
Well, they talk about things like problem reframing, creative guidance, and result optimization.
Okay, so break that down for me.
Mm.
What does problem reframing involve?
It's all about taking a problem and rephrasing it in a way that's more easily understood by the AI.
So sometimes the way we naturally phrase a question or task might not be the most effective way to communicate it to an AI.
Exactly. Problem reframing helps bridge that gap.
That's fascinating. It's not just about the AI learning to understand us, it's also about us learning to communicate effectively with the AI.
Precisely. And prompt engineering goes beyond just basic communication. The guide also gets into advanced techniques like contextual understanding, abstraction, and critical thinking.
So it's a pretty deep field.
It is, and it's constantly evolving as AI technology advances. But the guide emphasizes that it's not just about technical proficiency, it's also about using these tools responsibly and ethically.
That's a really important point. As AI becomes more powerful, we need to be mindful of its potential impact and make sure we're using it for good.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from different prompting strategies to AI hallucinations and prompt engineering. What are some of your key takeaways so far?
Honestly, I'm just blown away by the depth and complexity of this whole world of AI. It's so much more than I ever imagined.
I know, right? And we're just getting started. In the next part of our depth dive, we'll be exploring this concept of prompt chains in more detail and how they can unlock DeepSeek's true potential.
Can't wait. It sounds like things are about to get even more interesting. I'm really starting to grasp just how versatile DeepSeek is. But one area where I'm still kind of fuzzy on how AI can be helpful is influencer marketing. It seems like something that's so human-driven, all about personality and authenticity.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does seem like a very human-centered field. But the guide actually has a whole section on using DeepSeek for influencer marketing.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm intrigued. So how does that work? Does the AI write the influencers' posts or something?
Not exactly. It's more about providing a framework and guidance for the campaign. The guide emphasizes that the prompts you use for influencer marketing should always align with the brand's objectives, the target audience, and the desired tone of voice.
So it's not just about getting an influencer to mention your product. It's about making sure the message is consistent and resonates with their followers.
Exactly. It's about creating authentic and engaging content that feels natural coming from that particular influencer.
Okay, that makes more sense. So how would you actually use DeepSeek to create that kind of content?
Well, you'd start by giving DeepSeek a ton of information about the brand, the target audience, and the overall goals of the campaign.
So like a detailed briefing.
Exactly. Then you'd guide DeepSeek to generate creative briefs that outline the key messages, the desired content formats, and the specific calls to action you want the influencer to promote.
Oh, okay. So it's like creating a blueprint for the influencer to follow.
You got it. And the cool thing is you can use DeepSeek to generate multiple creative briefs, exploring different angles and approaches to see what might work best.
That's pretty cool. So you can kind of test out different strategies before even approaching the influencer.
Exactly. And here's another cool trick. You can even use DeepSeek to analyze the influencer's past content to see what kind of stuff already resonates with their followers.
Oh, wow. That's smart. So you can tailor the campaign to their existing style and audience.
Precisely. It's all about making sure the content feels genuine and authentic to the influencer's brand.
This is blowing my mind. I mean, it's like using AI to amplify the power of influencer marketing, making it more strategic and data-driven.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of it and helps you create a more targeted and effective campaign.
This is making me think about all the other ways we can use DeepSeek to enhance our marketing efforts. Like, what about brand storytelling?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. The guide actually talks about how you can use DeepSeek to craft those epic brand stories that really capture people's hearts and minds.
Okay, but how do you even begin to prompt an AI to write a story? It seems like such a human thing to do.
Well, the guide breaks down brand storytelling into 3 key elements: brand positioning, value proposition, and future vision.
Okay, so you're basically giving DeepSeek a framework for understanding what the brand is all about.
Exactly. And then you can guide it to create a narrative that not only informs, but also inspires and connects with your audience on an emotional level.
So it's not just about listing facts and figures, it's about weaving a story that people can relate to.
You got it. And DeepSeek can help you do that in a way that's both authentic and engaging.
This is all so inspiring. It really feels like we're entering a whole new era of content creation and marketing.
We are, and it's an exciting time to be alive. But, even with all this amazing technology at our fingertips, it's important to remember that the human touch is still essential.
That's a really good point. AI can help us streamline our work and generate amazing ideas. But ultimately, it's up to us to infuse those creations with heart and soul.
Exactly. We need to be the curators, the storytellers, the ones who bring meaning and purpose to the content we create.
I love that. And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah, I agree. It's been an incredible deep dive. We've explored so much about DeepSeek and its potential to transform the way we work and create.
We've gone from basic prompting strategies to complex prompt chains, and even touched on the ethical considerations of using AI.
It's been a wild ride. But I hope our listeners have come away from this feeling inspired and empowered to explore the world of DeepSeek for themselves.
Me too. It's a tool that truly has the power to change the game, and we can't wait to see what you guys do with it.
So keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
And until next time, keep on diving deep.